What up, everybody? Hey, Marps. Hey, Lost. MFJ. So, I haven't really played much since I last streamed. I played a little bit. Played with MFJ, and we co-opted a boss. That was pretty fun. But so I went back to that island, because when I went there last stream, people said you can't do the quest in co-op. And, thankfully, I figured out how to get out there a lot faster. You basically, do the ice thing and do the wind thing and then do the ice thing, and you can actually get there significantly quicker. And I found a golem you can fight there, which is level 35, so that was kind of cool. And then the quest basically tells you to just figure it out, bitch, lol. And then you have to find these notes, and you read the notes, and it tells you to come back up the island at like 2 a.m. And then you use your elemental sight, and you like blow up some air domes and some other nonsense. And then you summon this fucking eyeball. And then you beat him, and then he runs away, and then you come out here and you do all that nonsense again, and then the eyeball's back, and now he's level 40, and I haven't fought him yet, but it's probably going to be a problem because he's level 40 and I'm level 16, but you know.
I still have a lot to do with the guild. How
all right.
Will I go back?
Oh, and he has ads with him. Great. This'll yeah, I figured when I spawned this guy, I was like, I'll just wait for the stream and then fight this guy. But yeah, level 40, Eye of the Storm. What could go wrong? Look at these ads! His ads are level 38! Wonder if I can kill just the ads here.
Bet you can't keep up with me.
I think I can just get the ads. Just gotta be careful. FGO looks different. Did I not change the title? I did. Hold on, let me look. I may not have changed the game category, actually. Look at this guy. He's flying and just shooting shit at me. Wait, did he die?
Someone needs assistance.
Huh. Alright, let me make sure my, I like how if I click off to my stream, then it closes the game because, you know, game development's hard. There we go. Alright, I fixed it. Oh, I got an invite. Is this someone from the stream? I don't know. Like, I'll add anybody from, you know, chat or Discord or whatever, but I don't know if this is somebody or not. This kind of, I kind of think this is a random, just because I don't recognize the name, and I think the invite was here before I started streaming, but I'm not sure. I'll give it a minute. Alright, just one more ad. Yeah, fighting these guys with the boss would be pretty terrible. I actually think that does aggro the boss, but if you run back here, he de-aggroes. But then the slime doesn't. Well, I don't know, this slime might. Look at these bastards. Okay, we gotta fight that guy the old-fashioned way. Man, you gotta be fucking kidding me right now.
Leave it up to me.
Just trying to watch the eyeball. I do no damage to this guy. What the fuck? I just ulted him and like nothing happened. Oh god, I'm not flying. I hate this attack because it's like RNG if the wind thing spawned in good places or not. Not really a fan of that. I don't really care for this boss because he reminds me of the cubes where you're just waiting around like forever. Oh yeah, you can attack there. Why is he level 40 and I'm level 16? This is bullshit. I mean, I could have just leveled, but you know. You know, I feel like I should have co-opted this just for the sake of brevity. It's not like this is a moveset I'm not familiar with. Like, I know this moveset. My damage is so bad. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Steady as.
He just sits around doing nothing so much. I got stuck on a... I hit him once. I hit him once. It is bullshit. I'm just gonna die to the big AoE because at some point I'm gonna get really bad RNG. Because this fight's gonna go on for 30 years and at some point it's gonna just be the worst RNG and I'll die. He's probably gonna do it like any second now.
I must leave no stone unturned.
Or like right now. Oh my god, the damage. This is so dumb. I cannot be the only one that feels this way. Like, it's just random. It's like sometimes they show up in places you can get to nice and smoothly and it's like no problem. But then like sometimes they don't. Like, it's dumb. Let me just, you know, eat real quick. Wait, what's the title? Did I not? Oh yeah, I did. The weird thing is I know I changed it. I just must not have saved. There we go. This is just FGO 2, guys. Damn it. What? Well, I'm fucked. Sometimes, see, there's nothing, no way to get in the air. This is great. That's stupid. Like, it's just stupid. There's no skill in that. It's just lol, he spawned it, and none of the things were even remotely close to me. That's dumb. Like, that's just dumb. And I get it, I'm supposed to have higher stats than this, but like, Jesus. And I keep missing my few DPS opportunities. Don't worry, the rabbit's got it. I can't. What? What? I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. I wonder if I can't get back in though. That would be kind of interesting. I know you can. Okay. Come on. Fucking tree. This is awful. The music is so unfitting, by the way. It's like super calm music. Nice spin. Nice spin. Good job. What? You gonna do an attack? Oh my god.
Leave it all to me.
Hey, look, there's none near me. Wait, what happened? What? I mean, I'm not gonna complain, but for some reason the attack got canceled. He tripped. I like how there's a civilian just like sitting there. Why? You fuck! Will you stop shooting shit?
Steady as stone.
Oh my god. You know, I don't remember Mary Poppins quite like this. I thought it was a little different. Land on the rabbit! Land on the rabbit! He was too slow. Guessing he's gonna do the big AoE bullshit now. Yep. Oh, not looking good. Man, just die already. At least you're green. That's like the only thing I can give this guy.
I'll catch up. Steady as stone.
That civilian is like invincible. What a guy. Give me some of that. Fuck!
Steady as stone.
Chat, I don't want to fight any more level 40 bosses as a 16 anymore. I don't want to do that. I swear to God, if he resets because he just got too far away.
I must leave no stone unturned.
Shoutouts to Noelle though, like just healing the hell out of us. It's kind of nice. And face tanking when the air thing goes awry, which it has many times. Speaking of. Fucking RNG mechanics, great! Just crit, forehead. There's more ads!
Steady up.
We have got to stop meeting like this.
Let it rain. Bet you can't keep up with
That was the worst shot ever. No. Nope. 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 Like, the ads are higher level than me.
Steady as stone. I'll catch up.
Oh my God. Air. Where's the air? Oh my God. We're gonna get fucked now. Yep, that is great. Really? Mother... Oh my god, he just hit me for 2,000. These ads are so stupid. Stop climbing shit! Oh my god. Oh my fucking... I love RNG, it's great. Can you all die? Like, just... Like, you look amazing, but you gotta go. And they do so much damage. Fuck. I don't feel bad about healing this much because the boss is level 40. It's fucking stupid. And there's fucking cyclones everywhere. There's ads again. There's fucking ads again. There's I love RNG with survival mechanics. It's great.
I'll catch up. I am a disgrace.
Okay, I need to just kill this guy. Just kill it, forehead. Fuck you, dude. God. Yeah, thanks, buddy. You did it. What do we even get for doing this? Oh, we ain't supposed to talk to that guy, apparently. Is this quest not over yet? Because this has been a real... No, I guess it is. We did all that for like hero XP and 60 like SQ shards, which are, you know, you need like 1,000 some odd to do anything. That was not worth it. That was absolutely not worth it. I will say, if you were like more level appropriate, the ads would actually make that fight more fun, because like that fight otherwise is kind of boring because it's a lot of waiting. And it makes his attack, like having to worry about his attacks and the ads attacks would actually be interesting. It was mainly just the level difference that was a problem there. Hi, Dijin. Alright, what are we even doing right now? So we can do the main story, which is good. Can't do that. What was this? I guess we'll do this first, then we'll do the main story. Hi, Persona. Hey, it's one of those guys. Alright, where am I going? Yeah, 60 is not bad. It's just, I mean, that was a really involved quest. Like, it took quite a while. And the boss was level 40 for God. Although, honestly, I doubt that you were supposed to do that quest this early. I don't know, though. You could find that island pretty at any point. Yeah, he's fun. I like him a lot. Oh, fuck.
Shh! Keep it down! I'm hunting! I've always heard about the wide range of ingredients you can find in Mondstadt, and it looks like it's true! No, I'm a chef! A chef on a mission to find rare and exotic ingredients from all corners of the world. My name's Xiangling. I'm from Liyue Harbor. And you? Hello, my name's Paimon. Paimon! Why are you looking at me like that? What an exotic creature. Is it edible?
Dig in.
No, for the last time, Paimon is not emergency food! You seem like good friends. I have a good friend too, called Goba. Isn't that the name of a Liyue snack? Both the snack and my friend have a special place in my heart. Anyway, can you do some hunting for me? There's lots of game around here that would be amazing to cook with. I can't catch anything to save my life, and I don't want to miss out. Sounds like a bit of an ordeal. Don't be like that. Come on, I'll whip you up a tasty snack later. Ooh, you had me a tasty snack. Don't worry, we're the bestest hunters ever. Don't worry about it. Your friend has already given me a response. I don't care how it's done, so long as you bring me back some raw meat. Great! Then I'll leave you to it.
I probably already have enough raw meat. If we can get at least one, just because I'm gonna need it for cooking later, I'm sure. Mother! Oh, got him anyway. Man, I don't know who taught these boars the art of teleporting, but they're really good at it.
Wowee! This is great! Some of it I'll shallow fry, some of it I'll deep fry with mushrooms. Ooh, and Paimon thinks she's forgotten about us. Sorry. I got all excited thinking about new recipes. As promised, a tasty snack. Go on, try it, and tell me what you think. Are we your food testers now? Oh gosh, this is Delicious! Can you tell us how to make it? Sure! The only thing is I haven't written down the recipe yet. I got it! I'll make another one now so you can watch. This seems pretty hard to make. It'll take more than that to learn how to make it. And we don't have a frying pan or any condiments. Come on, it's simple.
Don't even have mustard on us.
We can fry on a slab of stone and cook using some boar fat. Build a stove from rocks. Use dry grass for kindling, twigs for firewood. Sweet flowers will do for sugar. As for salt, I found a load of rock salt in a cave the other day. I just can't help myself when there's a chance to try something new. But I can't exactly bring my whole kitchen with me every time I leave the house, either. Give me a second while I get everything ready.
Hey! What do you think?
Whoops.
This is the boar's natural habitat. You can't hunt them here.
I know,
See
right?
them all running. We hunters know better than to kill the chicken to get at the egg.
Oh, I get it.
I don't want to do this quest. Oh my god.
The freshest, best quality meat comes from free-range boars that grow up in the environment nature intended for them. It would be a major blow to gastronomy. No, to all mankind. I'm sorry. I got excited and didn't think of the impact we'd have.
You should apologize to Draff. As our leader, he always stresses the importance of respecting the rules of the hunt. I'm afraid he is very upset right now.
I made a mistake, and I should go and apologize. Thanks, guys. I'll cook up some more tasty snacks for you once this is over. Okay, don't worry. Paimon will remember even if you forget. Draff ought to be in Springvale. Let's go!
Oh my god. You know what? I'm not doing this right now. This is stupid. I'm gonna go do the dragon bullshit or whatever. Like, holy crap. Anything but this. I feel like at some point I'm gonna have to level, but the game, hasn't made me do it yet, so. Gotta research how they teleport, I know, right? Yeah, imagine if they made you get a hunting license. Oh god. I actually do need ingredients though, because I just like ate a feast to beat that stupid level 40 eyeball. Hey, Red. Oh. Wait a minute. This is the right one. Wait, is she still dead? Oh, okay, hold on. Kinda forgot about that. I really like in co-op though how you have less characters. It makes it a lot more interesting. I think that was a really good decision on their part.
Ready when you are.
I wonder how much of that I have now. Let me look. $40,000. So I probably have like, but not much. We're close to like 3 temples with like the stuff we already have and the 3,000. That's not a whole lot. But hopefully I have a while before I'll need to use it, so. That's how you mine. That's how Granddad did it in the old days. We're about to go talk to ourselves. This isn't awkward at all.
The Abyss Order. Enemies of the human race. Even the underground networks rarely come across any information on them. With that said, it was a bit of a hassle, but I managed to dig up a few clues.
Really? That quickly? You really are well connected, Master G. Luke.
Come to think of it, Mr. Big Animal God Barbatos, why exactly do you need the help of mere humans?
How do I put it? The Seven, as people now know them, were once known as the Seven Archons. Each Archon presides over their own part of Teyvat. That is the role the Archons play. Only in performing this duty can we attain power. But I don't like the idea of ruling Mondstadt, and I don't feel Mondstadt would really like it either.
Go forth and establish a city of freedom without rule. We have not forgotten Barbatos' wish for Mondstadt.
Jean, you're such a devotee. Maybe someone got a little too free and is just too lazy to care.
However it may have come to be, I haven't been back to Mondstadt for an extended period of time. Without a doubt, I am now the weakest Archon among the Seven. Aw, you flatter me.
Oh, such a humble god. Is it a blessing or a curse? But we digress. Let's get back to the topic at hand. The common enemy of all mankind. We have tracked the Abyss Mage to the vicinity of the winery.
I cannot stress enough how important it is to not let it escape.
I like how we're still in the prologue.
Well, that's not bad.
Okay, I don't have any teleport points closer, so we're running. There's a... oh, there it is.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, still in the prologue. Oh, fuck, it's one of these. Okay, hold on. Sure there's somewhere we can get up on this thing. Oh, hey, you can go inside. Does not seem like there's a whole lot in here. Just gonna steal their shit.
Oh, how awful.
I can't write a piece based on this info.
Oh, side quest. I'll do that later. Just gotta remember that that's a thing. Yeah, that's pretty common in Eastern RPG games. A lot of made up bullshit names that are really unnecessary and kind of dumb. Blaze Blue is so bad about that. Oh my god. Oh yeah, gotta get the thing on the roof. Before you have to climb some fucking mountain to get around a little lip on the roof. Wow, you probably do have to get on a mountain or some bullshit. I don't think there's anywhere on this thing that doesn't have the lip. You think if you could, I mean, literally, like, climbing like this is, like, impossible, right? You can't, that's just stupid. And yet we can't figure out how to put, like, our hand behind our head and to grab the edge and pull ourselves up, right? That's Like, that's not a big deal, right? Like, it really isn't. Wonder if I can get on that balcony. But we can get up that. We can get up that, but that little lip. Oh no. No, that's too much. Couldn't possibly handle that. Feels like frickin' Super Mario Sunshine. Getting the sun sprites. So, I keep hearing people be like, oh my god, why aren't you listening to the Japanese version? And it's because, like, I don't really like the Japanese version. I don't really like the English version all that much either, but I really get tired of this where people just like act like only the Japanese know how to do voice acting, where that's not really true, and there's a lot of really bad Japanese voice acting, and something, I felt this way my entire life. There's plenty of good Japanese voice actors, of course, right? But something I have never, ever fucking liked is the way Japanese do like grunting noises. It sounds so fucking stupid and fake and ridiculous. I'm literally gonna switch real quick. Not the game language, oh god no. Like, something like, oh wait, do I have to reset? Because I have to reset, that's gonna be too annoying. See, that's just, like it, just god no. It's so fucking just no, just stop. It sounds so fucking stupid. And like D-Luke is way better in English in my opinion. I really don't care for him in Japanese. I do think the eye patch guy, like this guy's definitely better in Japanese. I think there's several characters that are better in Japanese. Almost all the like filler side characters are way better in Japanese because the English dub was just like, we're not gonna give a fuck about the characters that are in this for 5 seconds and we'll get Bob to voice it, right? So that stuff sucks, but like D-Luke I think is way better in English and the main character is better in English and you listen to them the most, and I think the fairy is better in English. I don't think she's great in either, but I find her ungodly annoying in Japanese, just super high-pitched squeaky nonsense. And then the Korean version, oh god, don't even get me started on that. Like, anytime, like, in games like this, when you can, like, jump and climb things, the Japanese version, especially for female characters, I'm just like, no. Just stop. Good old Bob. Like, I can think of all kinds of, like, English dubs that are terrible, but I can think of Japanese dub, or, I guess, original stuff that's terrible, and I can think of English dubs that are good, and Japanese stuff that's good. It's just like, there are talented people all over the world, right? There are German voice actors that are good. There are German voice actors that are terrible. There are you know, I don't know where people act like yeah, only Japan knows how to talk, apparently. Like, it's way more of preference. And I don't know why people don't realize this. Like, some people like Japanese voice acting and they would much rather hear all the anime squeaky noises, right? But some people don't, and that's not crazy, right? It's just preference. Overwhelmingly, it's preference. Now, there are instances where some voice actors really are bad, like, that's obvious, but... Yeah, I think that happens a lot, where people, like, things that are, like, really over the top, very, like, on the nose writing, you know, and when you're screaming attack names, like, you know, and you're just saying things like that, when you don't... Even if you know enough Japanese now, like, the way you see it through Japanese is not, it's not, you don't realize how on the nose or, like, you know, silly it is compared to when you hear it in English, right? If you're like, especially if you're like screaming attack names, right? But it's not really any different in Japanese. Like, I like a lot of Japanese voice actors. Like, you know, I play a lot of games and I watch plenty of anime and everything. I can think of a lot of Japanese voice actors that I think are really, really good, and I really like them. But I can think of plenty of English ones that I like too. Although I have to say that this game has almost no like industry standard voice actors in this, and that's why I think the quality is kind of random for the English. Like, I think the English dub has a few people I think are pretty good. Like, I think D-Luke is actually quite good. He's my favorite character, so that's really all that matters. But like a lot of your industry standard people have like a lot of experience they're not getting for this game. And like for the Japanese version, they have a lot more like industry standard voice actors that have a lot of experience. It's just some of them I just don't like as much, and also I just like I said, I don't really like Japanese grunt sounds and stuff. God, Mark Hamill is amazing. That guy's abnormally good at that job. I actually know a lot of people where English is not the first language and they prefer English dubs a lot, but it's kind of funny how that works. Fuck, I just missed the third hit. Oh, okay. I'm trying to pick up a flower, get frozen. Let's try to be serious for a minute here. That's new. I should probably stop face tanking this guy's attacks.
Huh? What's this? After the Abyss Mage was defeated, a certain energy dispersed from its body.
Because like I see I've seen the other side of the argument too, where you have some people that act like, you know, listening to stuff in Japanese is always dumb and it's like, oh, you weebs and shit. Like I don't feel that way either, but it's a matter of preference. Like it's just obnoxious to me because it's become like socially acceptable in like the anime community especially to just shit on somebody for liking English, their own language. How dare they, right? But like you don't really ever see, like I was watching Ouroboros play this the other day and he was playing it in Japanese. I didn't say a damn word. I'm not like, why aren't you playing this in English, right? I don't say shit like that. That's stupid. Like get off your high horse. Like it's silly. And like you generally, like you know, there are some people like, you know, shit on weebs and stuff, but they're not normally in the weeb community, right? That's the thing. I just think it's a bad look, right? Where it's like it's become so standard where like, oh my god, you like English? How dare you, right? But you don't generally see people like in streams and shit like giving people a hard time because they like Japanese or Korean or any of that stuff. Korean is so awkward for me though because like I actually know some Korean and I actually grew up around some of that stuff, but not enough to like speak it fluently or even close, like not at all. But like so Korean stuff is always really weird for me. So it's just a very strange experience.
It seems that energy was being used to cut off the connection between me and Dvalin. Huh. Do you know if Storm Terror's like...
Is there any way to get my powers and sister back and leave this place to die? Yeah, right?
But Jean and Master D-Luke are no doubt aware of it.
I'm really annoyed that I have the female main character. Like, I don't mind the voice actress, but like, the clothes, I just... God, no. Like, what are you wearing? Also, what are you wearing? Like, this guy, Jesus Christ.
As it was with the storms that previously cut Mondstadt off from the outside world, the entrance to the ruins is also sealed by a special barrier. But now, as the energy dispersed from the Abyss Mage, I was able to read the rhythmic flow of how the barrier's magic was woven. I must admit, it sounds even more horrendous than
I think the male's clothes are a good bit better. They're not great. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, 10 out of 10, right? Like, I would never choose to play a character that looks like that, but I definitely like the way the main character looks for the male more than the female. But I like the female voice actors better, but...
It should be enough to let us break through the storm barrier and reach Storm Terror's lair.
Don't even start, Arjuna.
Which means we're going to confront Dvalin? I'm fine with that. Jean is the one who wishes to avoid any direct confrontation.
I know, right?
When there are no other options left, it is my responsibility to alter our course of action. If slaying him is our only choice, I will gladly become the knight that leads the charge.
Fortunately, we have yet to need to go that far.
By that, you mean...
I mean that the Holy Liar is not our trump card. Our real trump card? The Traveler, of course.
The fuck?
The Traveler?
Correct. But you have a much more precious forte. The impurities...
That's one way to put it, Arjuna.
The curse that binds Dvalin, belong
A
to
little
the
too
same
open.
magnificent power. Which means
Openly criminal.
You tone-deaf bard! Don't you see how crazy this is? You've seen what Devon is like when he's ticked off. She'll be swallowed whole before she even gets to lift a finger.
Hey, nice plan. Worth a shot.
I am with you, Honorary Knight.
Oh, so we just need to fight monsters from the abyss and a dragon. No pressure or anything.
Humans aren't without their strengths. Let's go.
Like, okay, in fantasy games and anime and everything, I really don't have a problem with, like, impractical clothing and everything, but it's a matter of style and, like, variety. Like, I like armor, right? I like that stuff. So it's not about the practicality nonsense. There's nothing practical about these universes anyway. You know, it's stylistic stuff. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with having stylistic stuff. Not everything has to be super realistic. Although it depends on the story. Some things should be realistic. But anyway, it annoys me though when there's like no variety, right? Like it's all this nonsense, you know, and like there's nobody in armor. Although the NPC guards, they get armor, right? But no unplayable does. And I get it that a lot of people don't like heavy armor, right? But that's not everybody. A lot of people also like heavy armor, so it's okay to have at least 2 or 3 characters here and there, right? That's got some fucking armor, like Jesus.
and so epic actions of brave heroes finally leads to this 11th hour.
Skins would be nice. Oh, what, the main character? I didn't even... Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty normal... Like, that wouldn't be hard to run in at all. And actually, those kind... You absolutely would see shoes like that, like, all the time for... Like, like, using a horse and shit like that is really normal, honestly. And again, I see people give shoes so much shit, but, like, wait, I'm not supposed to be doing this right now. This just always blows my mind when people get all like anal about shoes, but then like everything else the characters are wearing or doing is ungodly practical. Like I mean, Jesus Christ, like this sword, like no, like there's so much wrong with the shape and the size. This is so much more unpractical than any fucking shoe, right? Like I swear it's a matter of expertise, right? Because it's like really easy to notice when like I don't know, shoes are stupid. Or like not wearing a helmet or something, but most people don't know enough about physics and weapons to like realize a lot of like so many fucking weapons in games and stuff. Just the amount of things that are wrong with them is like too much to list. A lot of them are too brittle. A lot of them are like shaped in ways that would be impossible to balance. Anyone that's ever swung like an actual weapon will realize how important balance is, like with axes and swords and everything. And so many weapons in video games are just bullshit, and you would never be able to balance them, and they would just be horrible. And they're normally way oversized. And like a lot of people think big equals good. A lot of times it doesn't. Like it's a lot more about pressure, speed, and technique and those kinds of things. Like some of the most effective stuff to get through like plate armor is not like a massive hammer. It's a fairly normal, like if you look at most like actual maces and warhammers and stuff like that, they're not that big because there's no point for them to be that big. It doesn't do anything, right? It just makes you swing it a lot slower, right? It's irrelevant. It's especially with swords. There's no point to have a sword like this. Like some of the biggest swords that were actually used were like by like Germans and stuff, and they were absolutely not like this. Like they're not that big, right? There's no point. It's silly. But yeah, but it just bugs me when people, and again, I don't mind. I know a lot about medieval weaponry, and I have no problem with weapons like this. It's for style. Now, I would have a problem with it if it was a game like that was trying to be more authentic, right? Not necessarily realistic, but they were trying to be more authentic, like Mountain Blade or something. I don't want Mountain Blade using stuff that's like way oversized and shit like that. Or people in high heels, or aside from the actual heels people wore, there was plenty of that, but. In those kinds of games, it would bother me. But in fantasy game, anime games, I cannot fathom when people get mad about like lack of helmets or shoes, but then they're okay with like this just outrageous weaponry and just like people running around bare-chested, and it's just like, you know, you can't complain about one and act like the other one's fine, right? Because the weapons are a way bigger problem generally. But yeah, outside of games that are trying to be authentic or realistic or both, I don't care. It's what I care about is if does it look cool? Does it, you know, is it not, you know, it's more subjective for me. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think this looks good, right? That's the problem. Not like, oh my god, this isn't realistic. Well, that guy got bodied. It's actually one level lower than me. Apparently, if you like upgrade Diluc a lot, you can make his like charge attack like way better and take like way less stam. Apparently, there's a lot of like really nice passives and shit you can get if you get multiple copies of the characters, which kind of sucks because you know, being free to play and all, I'm probably not going to get multiple copies of very many of these characters. Although right now, they're probably going to add more characters and that might change like what I'm gunning for. But right now, the only two 5-stars I actually care about are Diluc and Jean. So I'd really only ever roll when those two specific, you know, when one of those two things are rated up. So given enough time, I'd probably eventually get like some of their extra copy stuff. But yeah, they'll probably add other 5-stars eventually and then it would get harder. But I guess we'll have to see. Also, a lot of people in medieval times would actually be pretty impractical. Like, plenty of people would be practical as well, and there was, you know, a lot of advancement in, like, designing armor in ways that was better and making weapons in ways that was better. But there were plenty of people that would wear armor and use things that were not practical because they either didn't know or didn't care. Like, that happened all the time. You'd have, like, some, you know, rich fuck, and then he gets, like, custom-made armor and weapons and stuff, and they weren't really that practical, but they'd use it anyway. Hey, look, it's one of those guys, but he's only level 22, so he probably wouldn't take 30 fucking years for me to kill it. Actually, in before I have to kill it. This will actually probably be funny with him being, like, way weaker. Well, I don't have my ranged character this time, but I think we'll be alright. Because, you know, I can actually hurt him. I wonder if I could just stand under, because he's lower level, I wonder if I could just stand underneath him and do her shield and not take damage. I kind of want to try that. I like how this one's easier and I get good luck with the wind things. Although I just fucked up right there. Then I got saved by RNG. I like the idea behind this attack, but it's just way too RNG. Like, the idea is fine, but I think they should have, like, the spawn points maybe last, like, less spawn points, but they last longer. That would be way better. Like, you could cut the spawn points, like, in half, but have them last, like, 3 times longer. I think overall that'd be way better. Probably could have ulted there, might have gotten him. Gotten that one close. I find though, that's one of the better attack, like if you can actually get a lot of, sneak some damage in on that attack, it really helps, because he doesn't have a lot of attacks where you can really hit him. Nice launch game. What? I wonder. I'm not sure if that did damage or not. So yeah, you can like face tank that damage with her no problem when the enemy's not level 40. I think that was not a big deal. Land. Land, there you go. That was so much easier. Dude, I like spears a lot. Like, they're such a like, I like them because... So, okay, spears are very easy to use. Like, generally, if you have, like, a bunch of untrained militia or something, you give them a bunch of spears. Overwhelmingly, that's what you do. But they also have a lot of room to be masterful with them, right? And they're like, it's good design and practical to have a weapon that's easy to use. That's a good thing, right? But then it's not like a dumbass weapon where like it's only good for noobs, right? Like there's loads of room to master a spear, and it has like, you know, it has like a really low skill floor, but a really high skill ceiling, right? That's a really good thing. And yeah, I've always loved spears that are designed well, they're practical, they've lasted the ages. If you get like caught in the wilderness or a forest or some shit, you know, if you're gonna kind of fashion an impromptu weapon, you want to make like a spear. That like if you're gonna get attacked by a lion or some shit, that's gonna be way more useful to you than like a makeshift, you know, club. Now there are makeshift clubs can be good too, but like spears are just amazing. Like spears and axes are my two favorite like medieval weapon by quite a lot. And the next banner in 3 weeks should be a 5-star Earth Spearman. Oh great. The last thing I need is another 5-star that I would actually want, because hopefully they change the safety net though. I've heard people saying that they may not actually be doing that, so I'm not sure if it's gonna happen or not. I hope it does though, because I feel like with a lower safety net, it's a lot more reasonable for people to actually spend money, right? Especially because like, if you roll for something and you don't get it, but you're close to the safety net, you can be like, oh yeah, it'd only be 20 bucks to guarantee get the character. And if you play the game a lot, it's like, yeah, 20 bucks, that's reasonable. You know, it's so many games though, it's like, yeah, $300, yeah, that's reasonable. Like, no, like, it's stupid. A lot of gacha games, I think, really mess up in the way they monetize themselves. Like, I think they could make a lot more money. You sure, put things in your game that are, like, aimed at whales and people have a lot of disposable income. But then you need to make ways for people to just spend, you know, 15, 20 bucks and actually have it be worth it, right? You need both. You volume and then your premium, right? Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't rate it Poster Girl again, but I don't know. They seem to kind of like to not rate it up because it's kind of busted, I guess. I don't mind great swords, they're alright. I've never been a huge fan of swords. Because one, they're not... I like things that are practical, not just because they're practical, but because I just find things that are Look at this fucking 360 no-scope jackass! Jesus, trying to talk to my chat here. Anyway, I like things that are practical because I think practicality is cool and nice and neat and all that stuff. And I also just find that most things that are practical look good to me aesthetically. And swords are not that practical. Well, they were at a certain point in history, but they became pretty unpractical. And there's just a lot of other weapons that are a lot better. So I've never... I don't hate them. I don't mind swords. I'm not looking at this, I'm like, oh my god, this is so ugly, right? But I don't know, it's kind of just there, right? It's like, it's a sword, right? I find maces and axes and spears and warhammers and a lot more interesting and cool looking. They're the more meat on their bones. Oh, no, I like crossbows a lot and longbows and all that. Bows are pretty cool. I really like crossbows because it's such an engineering masterpiece for its time. Like, it really is impressive. But I do like longbows too, especially the English longbows. That's some good stuff. So you're looking at chat and getting shot by this asshole.
Steady as stone.
That is so satisfying to do that. I feel like maces and clubs are one of the most underappreciated weapons. Almost nobody seems to like maces. And I think maces are pretty great. They definitely have a reputation for being like the brute's weapon, but I mean, they're just not. Like, that's just not a thing. English longbow is kind of, in terms of practicality, was pretty godly. And then, man, the Dane axe. That weapon was so ahead of its time, and it lasted the ages for quite a long time. And, you know, it eventually got, you know, pretty out of date, but... This would be a lot easier if I just do this. I'm actually curious, would a long, heavier greatsword have not been overall more practical than a lighter longsword or smaller lengths? Wait, so are you saying a bigger... Well, first off, in the later ages, like once like plate armor started to become really advanced and prevalent, you know, swords really did die off. But the swords you did see were great swords generally. Like the most use out of swords you saw once like armor really, you know, got going was great swords. Because they first off, they just have a lot of uses, period, and they do better against armor. They don't do nearly as well as axes and maces and spears and those things. But a greatsword does definitely do better against armor than like a regular sword does. And then you did see like Germans did use greatswords quite a bit. They really liked greatswords, but they didn't really use them for fighting armor specifically. It was more about like, you know, flanking archers and shit like that. But yeah, the heavier greatswords were more practical. But the heavy greatswords that were actually used are nothing like greatswords in video games. They're not nearly that large because there's a balance, you know, practicality is a balance of weight, speed, you know, all these things. You have to find the right balance of things. And it's not the right balance to make a sword that's like, you know, as massive what you see out of Berserk or like on Diluc here and stuff like that. That's not a good balance. It's not. You know, it's going to be so unwieldy and you're not actually gaining that much from its size at all. There's a lot of problems where the actual greatswords that were used found the right balance of still being very quick or quick enough and having the right amount of power and, you know, flexibility and those kinds of things. Swords being flexible is actually very important. Like swords that aren't flexible would break very easily, which is very bad. I really, one of these days we get to talking about this stuff, I wish I could have my brother on this stream because he worked with this stuff, like his, for a very long time, you know, he worked for a museum and his job was researching and learning about, you know, the history of medieval times and those kinds of things. And then he got very specialized into weaponry and the history of weapons and how they were used and all that kind of stuff. That was just his job for a very, very long time. So he has a lot of cool insights and interesting stuff to say and stuff. So one of these days I need to try to get that to work. Especially if I can find a game that's like really about that topic. It'd be a lot. It's nice to have like all the things on screen, like, oh hey, that's kind of based on this thing. Because dude, I didn't. What was that game? Raid Shadow Legends, right? A lot of people shit on that game, and you know it's nothing amazing. It was kind of a generic gacha game, but you know it had some interesting stuff in it. But something that was very interesting about it is they reference a lot of real life stuff in that game, like a lot. There are so many real life armor sets and weapons and whatnot. But they definitely take some like liberties with it, and they mix and match some eras. Like some people are wearing a helmet from one era and a sword from another era and stuff like that. But it was so fun. I just sat down with my brother and was like showing him the designs of the different characters, and like he would just come. He had so much to say about like almost every design because they were based on a lot of real stuff, and then like where they were accurate and inaccurate and stuff was super interesting actually. So that was actually really, I enjoyed that more than the game. But yeah, it's pretty neat. But yeah, with great swords overall, it ended up being more practical than smaller swords, like very much so. And swords in general were generally a sidearm. That's what people miss, is swords were fucking sidearms. A lot of people might have a sword on them, but their main weapon would be a halberd or a battle axe or a mace or a spear. Like overwhelmingly, that's how swords ended up being used. Now, that's not true for like the Roman, you know, peak and stuff like that. You saw a lot more swords in those kind of eras because armor was a lot different back then. But like when we're talking like medieval and plate armor and those kinds of things, swords were just sidearms, like very much so, with the exception of a few specific things, like some great swords. There is a stam thing here. I kind of got way off base with like doing the main story, but I can get some extra stam. That would be nice. I did pick the male MC, but then because when I started playing this game, I booted the game up before I started streaming, and I realized that the game showed your email address on the main screen, and I was like, okay, I should just make a different account and make a different email just for that, in case I get disconnected and it goes back to the main screen or something. Although I found out later that you can actually change it so it doesn't show your email. You can like make it a username, which is what I did now, but kind of too late. So anyway, so I made this account and I didn't play it. I made the account and I was like, oh, if I'm gonna stream this, I should make a new email, new account. So I put this account aside. I was like, okay, fine, I'll make a new one. Oh yeah, I forgot to kill those guys. And so I made the account that I streamed for the first time, right? And then when off stream, I was just messing around when I was like playing FGO. I was like, oh, I'll play that, you know, my regular email account. And it happened to get Diluc. I'm like, from the tutorial summon, right? And Diluc is like my absolute favorite. So I was like, fuck. So then we just ended up playing this one instead. So. And because I wasn't playing this account, when I was just messing around, I picked a female MC just because like, oh, I want to see what the voice actress is, and I want to see if like I wanted to know if like the cutscenes were different, like when you're fighting the god or whatever, right? It's not. It's exactly the same, by the way. But and then this ended up being my main account, so. Yeah, it is true. A lot of like men-at-arms or militia sometimes would have swords because swords were very common and easy to make. There was like so many of them. That's a common misconception. They've found like a lot of instances of just like records and letters and stuff where like swords would sell for like nothing. They would like sell dirt cheap because they were everywhere. So a lot of like poor people would have swords, absolutely. But it still wasn't the most common. Like poor people would still normally go for spears and stuff. And now, sometimes the poor people wouldn't be educated, right? And they wouldn't even know if a sword's better than a spear or whatever. They don't know these things, right? But generally, if you would have like a lord or a king or whatever trying to arm people and make an army, they would normally, not always, there's all kinds of variants, but normally they would favor trying to give inexperienced people spears because it's so much better to have a line of idiots with spears than a line of idiots with swords. It's way better. But there are plenty of instances of like militia and men-at-arms and stuff having swords, and it works better, or it's reasonable for them anyway, because a lot of times they're going to be fighting people that aren't as armored, right? So a sword is more effective. Well, like an axe and a spear is just as effective against someone that's not as armored either, but a sword works just fine if you're fighting somebody that's not, you know, armored up. Although this is something really interesting, and historians really don't have a good answer to this, and it's because there's so much about history we don't know. People like, a lot of historians will act like they know everything, but there's so much stuff about like just medieval times that we don't know, and a lot of the information we thought that was correct was just bullshit made up by the Victorians. It was just literally bullshit, right? And so we have found a lot of like.
We should really bring the Knights of Favonius.
I don't know why he says that. He doesn't like the Knights, and he says it constantly. It's really annoying. But we basically found battlefields, and this one in particular where like. This battlefield was preserved really well because there was like a mudslide. There was like a storm and a mudslide during like the battle or something. And so there was a lot of like rather preserved stuff. And so a lot of times like historians would say, oh yeah, only the knights and like, you know, elites would have plate armor. But we found this battlefield where both sides, everyone had armor. Now, the ones that looked like they weren't knights and stuff, it was much more shoddy. You know, it was still plate armor, but it was rather shoddy. It wasn't like amazing. But basically every goddamn person had armor. And something people have theorized is it might be very likely that a lot of times the more common folk, they might slap together what armor they can or buy what armor they can or what have you. But then when it's not wartime or, you know, they don't think they need it, they would melt it down and use it for other things. But in this case, they didn't melt it down because of the mudslide nonsense. So there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't get preserved and doesn't get written down or we don't find, and so we don't know. There's nothing that actually says common folk never had plate armor. Nothing actually says that, and we've actually found things that point to the opposite, right? We just kind of assumed that because of the Victorians. And it's just reasonable. It's not, of course it's not going to be as common amongst peasants and militia and stuff, you know, of course, you know, it's clearly going to be more rare, but this idea that like only the elite would have it does not seem to hold up. But I'm sure it depends on the, you know, which city, which time period, which, you know, these things vary a lot. But that was a really interesting find, that battlefield where they just found just so much armor on like literally every single fucking person. But it was like type of armor we've never seen before because it was a lot more slapped together. You know, it was way more low quality. And that's why they kind of assumed maybe because it was so low quality, it's something they would just melt down when they're not fighting, right? When there's no like war or whatever. So like it's not something that they, you know, like, oh yeah, we gotta keep this. But yeah, I mean, swords were fucking common as hell. They just weren't common as hell amongst, you know, elite fighters and like, you know, it wasn't the ideal weapon and they certainly weren't as common as spears. But yeah, because if you fight somebody in full plate armor and you're using a sword, it's not going to go well. You know, the movies make it look like it's fine, but it's not fine. And, you know, people like swords, right? It's something that's been romanticized a lot. Swords were romanticized big time throughout the ages. What do I need, lightning for this? Oh, no, I guess I can just hit it. Okay, well, that's a bit simpler than I would have thought. But My whole deal, my gripe with their maces and axes and hammers and something so rare, it's not about the practicality side of it. It's just boring. Like, it's fun to have a game that, like, you know, makes different weapons and gives them different pros and cons, and you get to see a nice variety. That's a lot more fun than just everybody using swords. It's way more fun, right? The fact that it is more realistic is kind of irrelevant, right? That's not really my problem. I just find it dull how every main character ever has to have a goddamn sword, right? Like, why can't we have a main character with maces? Why not? Right? Like why not? Like, it's just kind of lame. And in like a lot of games, you literally don't have characters that have axes or battle axes or you know, pole arms and things like that. That's one thing I like about Dark Souls, is just the fact that you have such variety, and if you want to make a guy in like chainmail with a mace or some shit, you can do that. I like daggers more than swords too, actually, because daggers actually have a lot of interesting uses that are quite fascinating, and there's a lot of like physics involved with them that is really fun. And they actually, ironically, daggers generally are more useful against someone in plate armor than a sword is. Like, daggers, you know, there's certain situations where daggers aren't good. You don't want to get in like a frontal assault with somebody that's got a halberd and you have a dagger. You'll never even get close to them, right? You're fucked. But like, if you get into grappling range and things like that, and you can pull out a dagger, that can be really good. Stab someone in the visor, stuff like that. And you've got, you know, if you're in a city, right? People aren't wearing their armor, and it's close quarters. You know, a halberd is unwieldy as fuck in like in an alleyway, right? And daggers are very good in those kind of situations. And there's a lot of interesting stuff with physics, like in a lot of like anime and shit, like Imiya and Fate. You know, you see the whole reverse grip sword, which is fucking stupid. You literally can't do a reverse grip sword. If you ever try to fight someone practically in a reverse grip, you'll realize why the physics don't work. You'll literally be jamming the sword into your forearm. Like, it's not good. But it works with daggers because the physics change when an object is that size. A reverse grip dagger is fine. And there's just a lot of ways you can manipulate a blade that only works with a dagger that won't work with a sword. Like, both reverse grip and normal grip with a dagger, there's a lot you can do with it in terms that you just cannot do with a sword. It's just, you know, the laws of physics do not allow, right? And it's rather fascinating. Obviously, daggers have drawbacks in the fact that, you know, they're small as fuck and they have no reach, and, you know, they have plenty of cons, obviously, but they're a great sidearm. And that's why they were a very common sidearm, because they're extremely practical sidearm. The thing is, this has actually been tested, and I know this because, like, I know people that literally work with actual medieval armor and whatnot. The half-gripping a sword is an emergency thing you do, and it's not good. It's really bad. It's very impractical. A lot of plate armor, and it depends on which, you know, era we're talking about. Like, really well plate armor generally is a real problem for spears to deal with. But a lot of plate armor is actually a lot more susceptible to thrust, like a thrust type weapon like a spear, than they are to anything like a slash, right? And swords are mostly slashing. You can stab with them, but their stabbing is, in terms of physics, are very inferior to what a spear can do. And if you're going to use a weapon that's not effective against armor, you want it to be able to thrust, because it's objectively going to do better. There's a lot of like fight manuals and stuff that people have taken, it's like gospel, where it's basically like a sword master basically showing off. It's just like a lot of kung fu masters and stuff. A lot of what they're talking about is not actually practical at all. A lot of like the fight manuals which show what you can do with the sword against plate armor is still ungodly impractical. Like, it's better than nothing if you literally have just the sword. And some guys were so skilled, like seriously, you would have like blade masters and just war veterans and knights and stuff that were really experienced, that could... They had so much combat experience and they knew what they were doing so well that they could use an impractical weapon and beat the shit out of somebody with a practical weapon, because they're just so much better than them. And a lot of people, you know, would, especially in sport, they would kind of show that kind of stuff off. And that's almost every fight manual ever made is not for a battlefield. It's for sport. I don't think we have any fight manuals that are actually for warfare. They're almost all for sport, and there's a massive difference between like what happens in sport combat versus an actual battlefield. And one big problem with swords on a battlefield is they just don't have any reach. Like, you have a line of guys with halberds and you have a sword, what are you gonna do? It's not a thing. And this is something like it's something that like not only is obvious from like our historical findings, but if you actually test it. The problem with swords is obvious. Like when you see people do mock battles and stuff, they give people points for just hitting somebody. But all of those hits would literally do nothing to plate armor, right? And then if you try to, half grip a sword or use the pommel and stuff like that, that is, it's better than nothing. But when you compare that to just wielding a mace normally, or wielding a warhammer normally, or wielding an axe normally, it's objectively inferior. Like, and it's not, this is not something that you have to guess about. Like we can test it and actually, hit the armor and those kinds of things. It's just, it's not great. Like, sure, if you have a sword and you're fighting a guy in plate armor and you don't have a mace, you don't have a spear, you don't have any of these things, then you might as well try the things that swords, because swords do have options, but it's inferior. It's greatly inferior. And it's just a fact that, like, among, not only do we have, like, letters and things and historians that said this, but our historical findings show this, knights and the elite bodyguards and, like, well-outfitted mercenaries overwhelmingly would use things like halberds and axes and maces and, like, I mean, it's just, there's no way around it. Now, it depends on the era, though. In earlier times, swords were way more common, but... Yeah, it's actually a common misconception, though, with swords, like how you can't, like, people think you can't grip the blade, but it's actually rather easy to do that. It has to do with, like, the only time a sword blade will really cut your, like, fingers and stuff is if it, moves along your skin. If you grip it and it's not there's no friction between, like, the blade and your fingers, it won't cut you. And then especially if you're wearing gauntlets, then it's not a problem at all. But yeah, that's a really, like, common misconception where people think, like, gripping a sword is going to cut you. It's a matter of technique. Like, if you're like an idiot and you just, like, grab a blade and you're moving your hand up and down and things like that, it'll where the fuck? I'm looking for this stam thing. It's on the map here, but I can't find the thing. I wonder if I can break this. Okay, well, that explains that. Dude, I've told this story before, but this was so wild to me. This was a long time ago. This was when I was, like, I don't know, maybe 17 or something. But I got to my brother's job, they had, like, a full set of actual armor, and I got to, like, try on the gauntlets and stuff, and I was just, now this was from, like, like, the golden age of plate armor, basically, but, like, I was just so shocked at, like, how much protection these gauntlets gave you, and then, like, you lost almost no articulation. Like, some of the, like, the later gauntlets, the amount of protection was nuts, because they basically had, like, the folds that would go over your fingers, but the way it's, like, connected to the gauntlet is, like, if you move your fingers up, it'll go back and stuff, so it doesn't affect your articulation in the slightest. But if you're gripping something or whatever, it'll slide down and cover your fingers, and then your fingers have, plate armor on them as well. So you literally have 2 layers of plate armor around your fingers, and you have nearly perfect articulation. It's crazy, like, how good they got at designing these things. And it was absolutely nuts, like, how much protection your fingers have. Like, it's crazy. Like, you can literally just, like, drop a sword on it and you're not gonna feel a damn thing. Like, nothing. Now, you drop a hammer on it and it's a little different, but, I tell you, that's... Warhammers are one of the scariest weapons ever. Those things are so fucked. Wow, I'm gonna fail this. I probably should not use a fire guy for a challenge to kill flame guys in a time limit. I don't think that's gonna work out.
As a good knight should.
Well, the thing about, like, not getting cut by a sword if you're holding it, it's not just about your grip. It depends on if it's your sword or the enemy's sword. If it's your sword, if you grip it properly and all that, you're not going to cut yourself, and it's generally not a problem. The problem is the other person. That's when things are an issue. Like, when you hit them, a lot of times that's going to make the blade move. But if you have a really good grip, it might not. It just depends. But then the other person is not going to just stand there and do nothing. And if you grab their sword, then of course there's huge problems, and they can kind of forcibly make it move. It's still you know, the other extreme, you know, a lot of people act like you can't grab a sword blade, right? That's wrong. But the other extreme's wrong too. It's not like you can just casually grab a sword and there's no problems. There's a lot of problems. It's not an ideal thing to do. You know, half gripping your sword is useful and sometimes the right thing to do, but it's not awesome, right? It's like there absolutely is a risk involved because your opponent is not a sandbag. Yeah, you do not want to get hit by a Warhammer. It's pretty fucking bad. And like they did develop their biggest defense that they developed for dealing with Warhammers was basically trying to make it be a glancing blow, right? You'd want your armor to be rounded, and so it's not a square hit. And legitimately, this is something a lot of people don't realize because they only do mock battles or things like that. In real combat, it is very difficult to hit somebody on the nail. It's very, very difficult to hit somebody like on the button. Because they're moving, you're moving, you know, when you hit something, it moves back. It is really fucking hard to land a nice square hit on somebody. And especially when they started making armor designed to make things glancing blows. But still, you know, maces and hammers were the big threat most of the time even if you're not armored, they were a huge threat. It's not like you take less damage from a mace because you're not wearing armor. It's just armor wasn't very helpful if you got hit by a mace. If it hit you directly, I mean, armor was still really good because a lot of times it would make it so the blow would not hit you directly, but... Alright, let's get back to the game. I'm like dilly-daddling here. I want to actually do the main story here. Wait, do I have a teleport point that's nearby? Because I wonder... No, I don't think I have enough orbs to get more stam. I think I need like 6, so I don't think I have enough, so I'll wait to go back. But I really like upgrading my stam because, like, right now, the stam cost, like, on my heavy attack is just too much to make it, like, viable, right? Like, if I need to start dodging, I have, like, no stam left now, so it's not that good. So I really want more stam so I can sprint more and heavy attack more and that kind of thing. Why is it a luxurious chest here? These have, like, really good loot, which is kind of obvious. And it's just here. Like, normally you have to do stuff or they're hidden really well. But that one was literally just there. Okay, I'm guessing I have to get in this air dome somehow. Which they probably told me how to do that in the previous cutscene, but I really was not paying attention because they were talking about a lot of crap. I'm guessing we have to approach from a specific... That killed me? That killed me! Wow. Okay, hold on. Let me go resurrect my guy. Well, that was, I mean, that is a fall. That would probably kill someone, but, what a way to die. Don't fuck with gravity, man. Oh, hey, there's a stam thing, like, right here. Oh, it's right. I can see it up there. Hold on. I was supposed to go to a shrine to res, but let me grab this thing if I can real quick. I wonder if that goes up. If it does, you just gotta grab these 3. God, I like never play the main character. I avoid it like at all costs. Okay, let's see if we can upgrade now. You died like a fly, pretty much. It's a pretty light. We have to fly into it. I feel like they told us about the barrier in the cutscene, I just was not paying attention. Oh wow, yeah, I need a lot. I need 4 more, okay. That's unfortunate. What I need to do is when I'm not streaming is like do all the like, you know, just looking around, exploring nonsense from the areas that we've gotten to. So I notice regular chests respawn. I don't know what the time on them all is, but they do, which is interesting because a lot of regular chests, I should have used Noelle. A lot of regular chests can give you SQ fragments. So, that's kind of interesting, right? Like, gives you a lot of reason to kind of just go around and grab shit. What I really want out of the main character is a double jump. I want that so bad, because double jump not only would just be fun, but it would allow you to do this in mid-combat. Like right now, you can only do that attack if you're elevated on something. Like you were standing on a log. You barely need in the elevation. Like this thing, I think, will let me do it. Yeah, literally, this log, which is barely off the ground, lets me do this attack. But if I'm on the ground, you just can't do it. Like it won't let you, and that sucks. It'd be way more fun, especially because there's so many attacks that knock people up. It'd be nice to be able to like go up there and then drop on them, right? But I don't think they're gonna give you a double jump. They should, but I don't foresee that happening. I tell you, the fact that I'm saving up and like, you know, being full free to play, the one thing that really sucks about that is I want that 4-star chick with the lightning because she has a counterattack, and that sounds awesome. And I really want that. And I want a lightning character to combo with this guy because your fire guys will do so much more damage if you have lightning out because you get that like over charge effect. But the only lightning character I have is Lisa, and I don't like her at all, so... So yeah, having a lightning character that I actually like the design of and then has unique mechanics would be nice, because she's... I forgot her name, but she's literally one of the few people in this game that doesn't look like she's 15, so... that would be nice. Like, I gotta collect all the adults, basically. Or the almost adults. Like, are you old enough to be left at home by yourself, right? If you're that old, that's a good start. You're the eye patch chick. I'm getting distracted by loot. Razor looked really young. I haven't seen him very clearly. I only saw like a picture of his face, but he looks super young. I'm not really a big fan of the kitties. But I'd have to actually, you know, see him and play him to know for sure if I'd like him or not. But so there's a character in Soul Worker that looks a lot like this character, but like as you level, if you want to, you can actually make the character grow up and get much older, and it's really nice. I really wish this game would do that, and they did a good job because it's optional, right? Like you basically do a class advancement, and like you can get all, if you want, you can get all the skill upgrades and things that make your character more powerful, and still look like the character originally looked like. But you can also have them grow up if you want, which is really nice. And I wish this game would do that, because if it's optional, then it's like, everybody wins. Okay. How we get in here? Nope. I mean, it could have worked. I probably should have paid attention to that previous cutscene. There's either an opening somewhere, like a rock, like a cave that goes through it, right? My problem with Fable was none of it was optional, and then it gets to the point where you turn into a jacked up old man. Like, no matter, like if you just keep leveling all your skills, you turn into a jacked up old guy, which is just, it was really weird. They should have let you like pick how far it advanced and that kind of thing, because it got kind of silly if you're like this ripped, massive dude. You're like Master Roshi, right? That you would, if you leveled up like everything, you would ultimately turn into Master Roshi, like no matter what you did. I think there's a door. Yeah, I think there's like, it would make sense if there's like a, you know, rock connection or something, but I have no idea where that would be. Unless you're supposed to go in here, but I don't think so. Surrounded by wind barriers, by sword terror, and dark forces at work have no intention of letting you break through the barriers so easily. Wow! Wow! That was really helpful. Really good quest description there. That really points me in the right direction, game. Thanks. That was good. I mean, we're doing the story, and the story is to go through the barrier. That's kind of my point. Like, my quest objective is go to the entrance to the lair, right? But I don't know where that is. wonder if it's like, I would imagine there's just like, it's one of these mountains I think goes into it, and there's probably a door somewhere, but I have no idea where that would be. Hank the Wind, I know, right? Motherfuck! Boris, man. Oh my god. Okay, that one dies. Jesus. Tusk keeps wrecking you, indeed. Yeah, I used that earlier, but I didn't really see anything. I seem to find the ice flowers more than any other. It's weird. I like how that guy gave 12 XP, and you need like 10,000 or something to level from 16 to 17. That's like not super useful. Is this like something? That's weird that this is like glowing like that, but I guess it's just the thing moving over the surface, like as it pans out, I think. Maybe this is something? Don't think so. It doesn't help that there's just like a million levels, right? Like it's not like just a big area, but like you've got like, you know, up there, then down here, then down for like it. So it's kind of hard to know where even to look. Destroy everything and destroy the ecosystem, I know, right? Those you like to like get high and drop into. Go up here, I should be able to get it. Look at all those rocks though. What? Okay, game. Nice physics on that one. Yeah, I haven't really used any of the XP items, but it's because I just haven't needed to yet. At some point, I will use them in level, but there we go. Oh, eggs are good. Never enough rocks. Oh, there's a mini boss down there.
Steady as stone.
Huh. Doesn't do that much.
I must leave no stone unturned.
Oh, the dodge were far enough away. Whoops. I was doing so good there.
Retribution.
That was close. Face tank. That broke through the shield so fast. That didn't work out. That was fun. I need that blue ore a lot. There's some cool stuff you can make with that. I'm guessing most of that's inside here, though. Motherfucker. One day, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really think this part of the game is designed very well because it's like I don't get the point to like having this giant area where the entrance could be anywhere. Like I don't, what's the point? Like you're gonna explore the area anyway eventually just for all the open world nonsense, so I don't get the point of this. If you want to do the main story, you want to do the main story, and if you want to do the exploring shit, you do the exploring shit. This is kind of just like, well, it could be anywhere. Good luck. Guess I gotta get up on top of this. Oh, there's a whoop. I tell you, that ice flower boss was so much better designed than the cube bosses. They give me hope that other bosses will be designed better. Like that boss, you could actually iframe through things, and if you wanted to be risky, you actually got rewarded for doing that. Like it was really nice. It felt like an actual boss battle where the cube was just like a waiting game. Why does it have to spawn the chest down there? Look at that in a minute. And it was really fun because I did it at such a low level, I was really incentivized to do the risky stuff. Because if I didn't do the risky stuff, it would take me like 3 years to kill the guy, so that was actually really nice. There's so many treasure chests around, but I don't want to jump down, get them yet. Why do you have to go over here if he's just gonna go down there? I don't understand. What was the point of that? Is there something else I can do up here? I don't understand. What was the point of that? That's so weird. If we're just gonna go down here, why didn't you just go down here? I keep unlocking spears, but I have no spear character. It feels bad, dude. I've heard there's another elemental type that the NA version doesn't have yet, like it's like dark or something. Kinda wonder how that's gonna be. Okay, where is it? Lined up right here. I have no idea. I wonder if it's like way below. I wonder if there's like some underground bullshit or something. Because according to this, it is right here, but it, you know, up and down. So that's either, because it's not above us, so that tells me it's probably below us somehow. Yep. Oh, the little puzzles. No, I mean, the checkpoint is this, and this is inside the barrier. Also, stop, Jesus Christ, stop axing. Like, I literally figured that out on my own. I don't need you telling me. And it's not, like, if I'm stuck on something and I want help, I'll say something, right? Like, it's not fun to have people telling you. The whole point of this is discover things. That's like, that's the fun part. Wait. Forgot to get one of the chests, I think. Who would put a chest here and put a watch in it and money and then like a glowing rock? Guys, don't be dicks. He said sorry. It's no problem. Like, see, that's like that's something I don't like. Like, you don't want to disencourage people. Like, that's why so many people will never admit to being wrong or anything like that, because people are normally not very receptive to people saying sorry, right? That's like the problem. The hell is that? Is that the city? Yeah, I guess it's the city. We're just behind it now. Okay, there's another orb in here. Surely it's in this tree, right? Yep, I don't know where it was exactly, but I got it on the way down. I'll take it. I wonder if I can upgrade my stam now. I found a good number of those. Hold on. So much side stuff. See, this is what I should be doing off stream. I might just start ignoring all this loot and, wait, there's another stam thing. Okay, surely I have enough now. We're getting way off the beaten path at this point. I'm surprised there aren't more interactions between fire and air, because in real life, you know, you have the whole oxygen thing, right? That's how this shit. Jesus Christ! That guy just beat the hell out of me. Like, it's like that attack is like so easy to not notice that he's sitting there spitting shit at you. You don't even realize you're getting nailed. Like, good God. Dude, spitting out fire, man. Really? That's not good. We may drown. I don't know how I didn't get that. Okay, we're good. But it's funny, you have to make it back to the mountain with enough stam, otherwise you'll fall off and then drown. Man, that would be an embarrassing way to go. What the hell? Being a bit risky with my stam there, but it'll be alright. Make it on the highest part, I guess. Do it from here. Looks like that part's a lot lower. Okay, surely the logic will prevail here. There we go. Although we could have just swum across. Like, we have enough cam that we could have just swam across, I'm pretty sure. I really like the rock slimes. They look pretty cool. I haven't seen any green slimes yet other than the air ones, but they're more like aqua. I am so off the beaten path because of this guy. This better lead to some good loot because we're going so out there. Okay, this guy dunked us in the water. Thanks. Sir, would you like to climb the... You're fucking Spider-Man all the time. There you go. Exquisite chest. Okay. That's decent. Alright, let's get... Where the hell are we right now? Can you imagine if you found this pillar? Like, you found this pillar, not this spirit? And normally the spirits are kind of nearby, so you'd be like, okay, where's the spirit at? Right? It's not even close at all. That's ridiculous. Hey Tab, what's up? I don't mind ice enemies too much because my favorite character is a fire guy. Oh, that's right. There are those green slimes that are like plants. I have seen those. I kind of saw them as plant slimes, not green slimes, but you're right. But yeah, they're not even aggro, so you feel like a dick if you kill them. Because they're just out there chilling. Okay, I guess that is just the entrance. I think it's because we saw it from... I think we saw it from like this side, so it looks like it was in the barrier, right? Because like the barrier like is out here and we were over there, and that's why it looked like that. Well, that is easier than, I made that a lot harder than it needed to be, basically. I'm literally switching characters just to get a flower.
Oh, I'm looking for...
I've actually never needed those, but I'm sure at some point I will. Wait, before we go in here, this, you know, might actually be like an involved moment. We should probably upgrade our stam. I feel like that's a good thing to do. Those people hating on slimes, man. I'm liking the game. It starts off a bit slow. It's definitely a lot, I like it a lot more now than the way it was at the beginning. Like the combat's gotten a bit better. There's some boss fights that are actually good. It takes a long time to get to that kind of stuff though. But it's good. I like the game. It's not, you know, it's not like the next Armored Core 4 answer to me, right? But I am definitely enjoying it. And I could see it becoming a lot better with updates and stuff, right? I see potential, so. You know, I've been playing it a good bit, so, you know, obviously I'm enjoying it. Okay, a little bit more stam. One of these days we'll get 200 stam. So I think you started the game out with 100, I think. But yeah, I enjoy it. I wish just a few tiny changes would make me like this game so much more. Like, one thing I will say, side tangent, but I'm really worried about this. I'm really worried about the gear system. Like, you don't normally notice the problems with them until you get to in-game. Because like in Epic 7, you don't notice how horrible the gear is until, you know, you're really far in. This game has a lot of signs of having a lot of the same problems Epic 7 has. And because of the co-op, like, okay, see this thing up here? You can't see my mouse, actually you can't see it. I need to change my OBS to show my mouse. But in the top right corner here, you get those like moon icons, right? A lot of the stuff that gives you really good gear is from using those, right? That's like AP, that like from FGO, right? And you know, whales can spend SQ essentially to regenerate it, and they can get a lot more loot than like a free-to-play person could. And so then the gear gap will get bigger and bigger. And if the gearing is like Epic 7, that's a big fucking deal. Like, And because of the co-op, you know, you want everyone to kind of be in the same power range, right? I think a co-op would be so much more fun if everyone, like in F-Go, everyone's at pretty much the same power range, right? You know, someone might get abnormally disgusting because they grailed a really clever unit and, you know, 2K foed them and all this crazy shit, but that's kind of the fun of it, right? Where in like an Epic 7 and stuff, the gear gap can get so massive, it's just like you're not even on the same playing field, right? And that's not
Rest a bit.
that's not great. And I'm worried the end game in this game is going to be like that, where it's not like a set end game, you just get to that point and you're done, and like, you know, you just get any new characters up to that point as well. I feel like it's going to be these endless treadmills where like there's almost no end to how strong you can make your character if you keep min-maxing the gear. And there's a lot of signs of that because there's just a lot of stuff in this game that's exactly like Epic 7. And it's also just a lot of games do that because it's such an easy way to give a game like longevity without having... You don't have to work, right? You know, it's a very, from a game design standpoint, it's a very easy, lazy way to give your game longevity. So a lot of games do that. So I'm really worried about that. That'll really hurt it for me. But yeah, some really basic stuff that I think would make this game so much more fun is if there was just a block button, like everyone could block, and some attacks were good to block, and some attacks were bad to block, you know. That would add a lot of, that's very simple, and it would add a lot of combat variety. It would allow them to make enemies that can interact with that, and so you could have a lot more engaging combat that way, I think. And then, yeah, just make the enemies harder, right? Like, just those two things I think would make the game a lot better. Like, some games do gear just fine. Like, some games, gear is not a problem, but I'm worried that this game, gear is going to be a problem. It's not right now, but I'm really worried that it will be at endgame. I could easily see that being a thing. Because, like, you know, I love that my stream, like, if I ask someone to right now, someone in my stream can join my game, like, right now, just bam, they're in my game. That's awesome. And then you can drop out, like, if we get to a point where, you know, we don't want them, you know, we want to solo and stuff, we can kind of jump in and out really easy. I really like that. But if everyone's all over the map in gear range and some people are, like, 10 times stronger than you and they're going to trivialize anything you're doing, you know, or they're so weak that they can't help you, that's not fun. You know, that is not fun. And I'm really worried this game is going to end up like that. And then if you want to, you know, have the best stuff, you have to grind, and I don't want to do that. Okay, actually, I'm not sure this is... Okay, there we go, there's a cutscene.
It's a storm barrier.
It's not just the stats. Like, obviously, they do stats and the way you level gear. The way you level gear and the way, you know, gear obtains stats and gets random stats, that's exactly like Epic 7, and that worries the shit out of me. But it's not that bad if, like, if the best gear in the game is actually pretty, you know... Like, Epic 7 just keeps adding tiers, right? There's no end to the gear, right? Where if you make a game where it's, okay, you just, you know, you get all your characters, like, level 60 gear, and that's that. And there's just this one, like, you know, set of 60 gear, and, you know, it's that. Maybe you try to get it a few times to get, like, the side stats you want. That's not so bad, right? But I don't think it's going to be like that, especially because they have this AP system where you kill certain bosses or do certain dungeons that take AP, and you get, like, that's where most of the loot comes from. That's how they want it. To me, that sounds like that's their business model, right? They want whales to be incentivized to try to get ahead of the pack. You know, the EP-ness. You know, oh, look how good I am. Look all this gear I have. Look how strong I am. And they do that by resetting their AP a lot, right? Because basically, you can fight bosses anytime you want, but you're only able to get loot from them if you spend AP, right? And whales can reset their AP a lot, right? They can spend SQ to refresh their AP and keep getting loot and they'll outgear you very easily, right? And so that sounds like, to me, I feel like I'm almost positive they're gonna have a shitty in-game gear grind because it incentivizes whales to spend money to get ahead of everyone. And that's such an easy, you know, low-hanging fruit way to try to make a quick buck. So I'm really worried about that. Like, this game just shows so many signs of that. You know, I hope I'm wrong. I swear to God, I hope I'm wrong, but we shall see. Because, like, 7 Deadly Sins had gear, and it's really not like Epic 7, and it's not that big of a deal. But, so I'm hoping it's going to be more like that game in terms of gear. I think it's AP refresh limited to 6 a day. If you refresh your AP 6 times a day, every day, for a week, you are astronomically ahead of somebody that never refreshes. In just a week, in 1 week, a whale is going to be astronomically ahead of you. Now, if the kind of gear you need to obtain isn't that hard to get, right, and you don't need to do it a million times, it's not a big deal. But look at Epic 7. Look at how many times you need to do their hunts, right? Hunts in Epic 7 are these bosses, and that's how you get, like, the really good gear for the most part. And the amount of times you have to kill those bosses to get anywhere, like, they don't drop gear very often, and when they do, a lot of times it has the wrong stats, and then when it has the right stats, you level the gear up, and then it levels up the wrong stats. So you have to do it again and again and again. I mean, it's nuts how much you have to do this, right? And if this game is like that, the people that are resetting their AP 6 times a day are going to get so far ahead of you. Like, you play the game for a month, and now every day they're getting more and more and more ahead of you, right? It's just going to be absurd. And it's not just that the whales get ahead of you, who cares? You don't have to play with them. The problem is, it means what you're doing is so fucking repetitive, and you're having to grind this gear like that. That's not fun, right? Like, the main problem with Epic 7 isn't just the fact that the whales get a huge advantage on getting the gear. It's that the fact that you have to grind like that in the first place. It's awful. It sucks. You just want to get good gear for your new character so that they function well. And they're like in Epic 7, a lot of times they'll add a new character and they need very specific types of gear to really work. But then you go and try to get gear and it just won't drop. And then when it does drop, or you finally get like the mats to craft gear, when you craft gear, you don't get to pick the stats. It's random, so that you just keep getting the wrong stats. And then you finally get the right stats, and you level up the gear, and it levels wrong. And then you have to do it again. That's happened to me just constantly in Epic 7. It's almost never do you get the right gear in one shot. Like, that just doesn't happen, right? And it's awful, because instead of doing the content you want to do, you have to just grind. And I'm afraid this game's going to be that. And the reason developers do that is because it gets whales to spend money. Right? It's not about making the game better. It's because it's an easy way to keep people playing, and it's an easy way to incentivize whales to spend money because EP-ness, right? So I'm really worried. I hope they don't do that, because the big selling point of this game is the exploration and that kind of thing. So I'm hoping, they're more about like adding new bosses and adding new dungeons and adding new towns to explore and shit. I hope that's more of their business model. The problem is, I feel like they're going to do that stuff, but every time you get to the end game of that content, it's always going to be a gear grind, because that's just easy money. Like, I don't see them making enough money off of their gacha, because their rates are so bad, and there's so few characters. I just don't think they're going to make that much money off. They'll make a lot of short-term money off that, but in the long term, they're definitely going to try to make money somewhere else. I'm almost positive they're going to. So, I'm worried as fuck.
It looks so dangerous.
Leave it to me. Although this wooden lyre is all I have, I don't need the lyre to break through this kind of storm wait, what is that?
So obviously we're supposed to just, smack the barrier with the lyre. That'll do it.
Attack! Prepare yourselves!
That guy just shield bashed way before he was to us, so...
The stage will need to be cleared before I can begin my performance.
Look at these guys only being level 22.
Such chores are not the concerns of the performer himself.
Wait, what's going on?
I so hope that they add metal shields later. Although actually, right now I hope I don't run into that, because I don't have a lightning character that I like. But it'd be cool if you had like metal shields that you use lightning on instead of fire. Although funnily enough, fire actually is really effective on metal, because if someone's wearing armor, the metal will be fine. The person inside of it won't, right? Like, being in metal that's on fire is, or being burned, right, is very hot and is not good. So, setting like if someone was holding a metal shield and you just like you summon a bunch of fire and burn the shit out of it, that's probably gonna make the person drop it, right? Although I guess if it's like a magical enemy or something, it might, that might not be a thing, but still. Yeah, you're basically wearing a toaster. But lightning is obviously superior because, metal is a conductor, so,
The hilly trolls usually do not venture into areas with high elemental concentrations. It puts a heavy burden on their bodies.
The Abyss Order must be manipulating them behind the scenes, yet they shouldn't have been able to determine that we would come. They're presumably spreading their forces to halt our plans.
Without further ado, I suppose I can play faster if my only audience is the wind.
It actually opened. You're not entirely useless, Tone Deaf Bard.
Well, if you're having a problem with shields, you can use Amber to set their shields on fire, but if you don't like her, then yeah, you are kind of screwed. Because on my other account, before I got D-Luke on this one, that was what I would do. I just use Ember. But yeah, some people don't like her, so.
This is it. We are now entering Storm Terror's lair. Watch yourselves.
Let's move.
I actually don't like the elemental stuff that much because it basically makes combat a joke right now, right? Like none of the enemies are strong. If you're actually busting out like combining lightning with fire and stuff like that, you murder the enemies so hard that it's boring. So I much prefer having to actually dodge and shit like that, and that's why I wish the combat system was a bit better and they made tougher enemies moveset wise, because I like having those kind of interesting interactions. You can have both, and that would be the ideal world, where you benefit from doing good combos and interesting elemental interactions and stuff. But then there's also, you know, good enemies with good movesets that make you think. And that flower was pretty nice. You know, you could eye frame through the eye beam and shit like that, and that was pretty fun. So I'm just hoping I don't want the game to just focus on like the RPG elements and ignore good old-fashioned mechanics, because I think it would benefit from having both, right? And again, that's why I like Dark Souls a lot, because they do a really good job with both. It has a lot of mechanical stuff with iframes and dodging and blocking and those kinds of things. And, you know, long ways attacks and sideways attacks and lunges and fast attacks and short and quick attacks and those kinds of things. And they have also a lot of RPG elements. You can trivialize this shit out of Dark Souls with just RPG elements. You level your stats up really high. There's a lot of magic types. Enemies are like a lot of times weak to blunt damage or weak to fire magic or weak, you know, so you can RPG the shit out of that game and make it easy. You can make Dark Souls so easy. But you can also just focus on the mechanics as well, right? Dark Souls does not have the best mechanics ever. You know, they're good, but they're not like, you know, the best, but they're good enough, right? So it's a lot of fun to be had. And you can sprinkle in the amount of like RPG and mechanical stuff that you want. If you want to focus almost entirely on RPG elements in Dark Souls and focus completely on like countering the enemy's weaknesses and leveling up your stats, you can completely beat the game that way. You can also completely beat the game by being level 1 and doing nothing but mechanical stuff. Or you can find a balance, which is what I like to do. It's like you stay on the lower level side of things and, you know, you don't, you know, trivialize things with RPG nonsense, but you get some of that in there, right? You kind of pick and choose what you want. And I like that, you know. I like games that give you like the option to kind of, you know, play it the way you want and make it as, you know, hard as you want in the areas that you want. And that's really nice. I will say though, this game gives me a lot of hope for just the industry in general, because as someone just said, this game feels a lot more like a normal game, right? And that's good. I think FGO feels like a normal game when you're doing like challenge quests and stuff. But it doesn't when you're not doing challenge quests. But yeah, this game feels a lot like a normal game. And this is just the first step. It's not like video games are going to end with this. This isn't the final video game mankind will ever make. By the way, that slime went back there and is not coming back out. And I can't get the chest unless I kill this guy. The fuck? What? Can I get the bomb? Nope, can't. Okay, I'm gonna run away and hope it resets. Anyway, you know, this is not the final video game that's ever gonna be created, and I want this game to be successful as fuck, because I want people, because it's funny, there are certain things I dislike about gacha games dramatically, but there are some things I really like about them that are kind of unexpected. You know, I don't like the emphasis on gambling and all those kinds of things. I think most of the issues with gacha games, though, are an issue of balance. Like, their safety nets aren't reasonable enough, their rates aren't reasonable enough. I actually don't mind that not everybody gets every character and that kind of thing. I don't actually mind that. It actually results in a lot of interesting stuff because, you know, this guy decided to save up and get Musashi, right? So that really benefits him in these areas, and he's weak in those areas. But then this other guy decided to get these other characters, so he has different strengths and weaknesses. That's really fun, and it adds a lot of variety and a lot of uniqueness. I really, really, really like that, right? So that's something I love about gacha games, is like different people focus on different characters, and they prioritize different things. And as such, they get different options. That's cool. What I don't like about gacha games is they take it generally too far, and the rates are ridiculous, and they're just trying to like incentivize you to throw thousands of dollars at the screen. I don't think there's anything really wrong with incentivizing people to throw $20 to $30 at the screen, but oh, you can get in here. But yeah, like if games incentivize, you know, just like a reasonable amount of money from time to time, that's no problem. That's okay. You know, the amount. Can you imagine how many hours I've played FGO? Right, so if that's what I've always said, I wouldn't mind if I had a reason to give FGO like 20, 30, you know, $50 every once in a while. But I can never do that because it's either give them hundreds to thousands of dollars or give them nothing, right? And I don't like gambling. I don't want to spend money on maybe you get something, right? I'd rather be like, okay, you spend this much money, you get this thing. Like you get this costume if you spend $15, or like there's a safety net. Like let's say you save up in FGO or this game. Let's say you save up and you don't have enough to hit the safety net, but you almost get to the safety net, or maybe you get halfway there, and you didn't get the character. You didn't get lucky. You didn't get the character. Well, now you'd be like, okay, well, I could spend money to get the other half of the safety net, and that's not that much money, and so I can get the character. That's reasonable, and I think a lot of people would do that. A lot of people won't spend money on these games, like me. I just won't spend money on these games. But like, if I was like, oh hey, I saved up, I didn't get the character, but if I spend 45 bucks, I'll get the character no matter what. You know, I've been playing this game for months, I haven't spent a penny on it. Sure, I'll spend 45 bucks, that's fine. Right, I would do that! But, you know, normally their business models aren't like that, and it sucks. But, so back on point, I don't mind the idea of like, normal video games with a gacha if it's done well, right? I think a lot of people don't want to see gachas and like corrupting their other genres and stuff if they see it that way, and I understand that to a degree. I don't want every game to be a gacha. Jesus Christ, I don't want every game to be a gacha. I don't want gacha Dark Souls, right? Like, you know, you want both, right? Because sometimes it's nice to have a game that's got like multiplayer elements and different people have different things. I think gacha games excel a lot in a multiplayer environment because, especially if you don't like let whales like get power, you know, you make it more about cosmetics and just different options. You know, then, because you and your friends have really different stuff, and you can, like let's say F-Go had co-op, right? Me and Kai have, obviously, the different things we focused on, right? And so if we were co-oping together, that'd be cool to see, like, our different preferences and stuff, and our different options, and that would be really nice. But a lot of gacha games, ironically, don't have multiplayer. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of good things about gacha games, and I'm hoping this game does really well, because I want to see more gacha games try to make good gameplay. I don't actually want to see more gacha games total. I would say the amount of gacha games that exist in the industry is fine. I just want those gacha games to be more full-on video games. But then I still want there to be a lot of video games that, you know, aren't gacha bullshit. Unless, honest to God, I don't mind the gacha at all if it's reasonable, right? If they have good rates and like a reasonable safety net, and they're not trying to get you to spend thousands of dollars. They're trying to get you to spend like $10 from time to time. That I really don't mind, right? That's not a big deal. But they're not like that generally. Like, there are almost no gacha games are like that. Yeah, more quality, not quantity. Because yeah, oh my god, if the entire industry was nothing but gacha games, I would be so fucking pissed. That would suck. I just missed so much chat. So if you guys were like responding, yeah, if you want to repeat yourselves, by all means do that. Sometimes I get like so caught up in my bullshit that I forget to read the chat. There's this game I'm playing where you don't roll for characters, but only for weapons, and the way you get characters is either pay money for crystals that are used to roll for weapons, or so like you just spend a set amount of money, or what?
The Knights of Favonius with you next time.
Looks like this is the front gate to Storm Terror's lair. The gate is
yeah, that's not so bad.
But still,
also, I have to stress this so much. I would never want to see a game that had an upfront cost and had a gacha. That's just bullshit, right? There is absolutely something to be said about you just buy the game and that's the game. Like that's something I don't ever want that to go away. And the whole reason why a gacha is acceptable is because the game is free. I have not spent a penny on this game. I'm getting all this entertainment out of this game, and I haven't spent a fucking penny on it, right? Which is ridiculous, and that's why I get really frustrated with this, because like, it's not like I don't want to give companies money if they're making a product that I'm enjoying. I have no problem with giving a company money if they have a product that I enjoy. The problem is these games are all like, LOL, spend thousands of dollars to supplement all the people that don't spend any money, right? Like, I would much rather have a way to spend 10, 15 bucks here and there. Like, if I just spend like 10 bucks on a gacha every other month or something, like, that's nothing. Like, that's less than you, like, that's literally nothing, right? I could afford that so easily, I wouldn't give a shit, right? But it's like, they don't even give you the option to do that, right? There's no way to support the game in any way outside of, you know, whaling, which I don't, you know, I don't want to do that at all. Yeah, his DPS is really good, but from what I understand, what actually makes him broken is stuff you get like later. It's like a lot of passives you can get, especially if you're. I like how his target reticle didn't match where he went. That is a weak point when him in the face like that. I wonder if Amber shoots him in the face like that, you get that stun. Anyway, what really makes him broken is some of the stuff like he gets either. I don't know if it's from like just leveling and ascending, or if it's what you get from getting dupes of him. Or both, I don't know. But I know he gets, like, if you really upgrade him, that's when he gets really fucking broken. Because honestly, I soloed that flower with Noelle, like, and it was actually easier. It took a little bit longer, but it was actually easier. Like right now, he's good, but I've heard he can get way fucking broken later in the game. FGO drives me nuts because I swear to God, they could be making more money in a more reasonable way if they would just use their fucking brains. Is he gonna die in the fire? Yep! Honestly, the main reason I use this guy constantly is because I like him so much more than everyone else in the game. I like him so much more. Like, I don't mean gameplay-wise, although I do like his gameplay a lot, but just character-wise, I like him a million times more than everybody. You can stun lock him with Amber. Feels bad. Rip Golem. Yeah, if you can just shoot him in the face and that does it to him, that's pretty funny. I played the Bard in like the trial mode. He seemed like too good to me. Like it was just, you just constantly knock people in the air and they can't do anything. But I can see that that'd be fun with like comboing with other people. But I just don't like his character enough to want to get him. Hopefully you get him before the banner goes away, but I'm sure they'll bring him back, just like, you know, FGO brings things back. That does suck that he's limited though. Especially for people that really like his character, because he's in the story and stuff. That must really suck if you like starting playing this game like a month from now. And look at all this stuff on the side. I want to go do all that stuff, but I also want to do the main story. Let me go get that chest, and then we'll come back and do the main stuff. Basically, the first pity will give you a 50-50 shot at the rate up, and then the second pity is a guaranteed. Has anyone done the math? Because I never look at this stuff. What is the math? Like, if you had no SQ, no free SQ at all, none, zero, and you were trying to buy a guarantee summon, or at least a 50-50, how much do those cost? Because I bet you it's bullshit. At least, though, you can get like half of it done with free SQ and then buy the other half, but I bet you it's still pretty expensive. One thing I really like about this character, though, is like, so if you're wanting to maximize your cooldown, you want to just do this. You want to do these 3 strikes in a row. But if you know, like, the stick coming off cooldown faster doesn't matter, or they're going to be dead before that, or you need to do more damage in a short period of time or whatever, doing this is slightly better DPS, like weaving the attack. So I really like that. Like, you have to pick between maximizing the cooldown or... Although, I wonder if the cooldown is based off the first swing. Because in that case, you should pretty much always do it the longer way, unless you don't have time, obviously. Can't play because first my PC sucks, and second my internet sucks, so the game is really struggling. That sucks. Well, it's not going anywhere, and this is way more of a single-player type game, although it has a lot of multiplayer elements, but you can kind of go at your own pace. Speaking of which, for those in my chat, because I do want to hang out with chat a lot, especially when we get later in the game, I want to do co-op stuff. Because I mostly only play on stream, I'm really behind everybody. So if you want to play with me and like not be over leveled, because I don't really want to play with people that are like really over leveled and will just crush whatever we're doing. What you can do, if you're not willing to do this, by all means, don't, right? But if you don't mind this, like this wouldn't bother you. If you have like other characters, like right now, you know, I have more characters than I can put in a party. Like you could just keep a character or two at whatever level I'm at, like whatever gear range I'm at, whatever level I'm at, you just like keep a character like that, and you use that whenever we co-op. That would be nice, and that would let me co-op with people that I would otherwise not be able to co-op with, because I don't want to play with people that are going to come in and just crush everything. You know, that's not going to be fun. But that's what like MFJ did last night. He's a bit ahead of me, but he had a few characters that were like on par with me, and he just used those, and it was fine. It was great. So if people can kind of keep that in mind, if you happen to have like a character on the side, like yeah, I kind of like this character, but you know, I'm not gonna like use them as my main, and you're okay with like keeping them at where I'm at, that would be nice. It'd make it easier for us to be able to play together. Probably try to do that tomorrow, where we like fight some bosses and shit, like fight that flower guy, and I know there's like a wolf guy somewhere and a dragon or some shit, and fight those things. I am using fire. I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at chat.
Steady as a dutiful maid would.
So I actually haven't heard this character in Japanese yet, but I bet you I'd like her more in Japanese just because I'm not crazy about her in English. This is not going very well. I was so close, god damn it. I probably need to get her ult again, because my main character is not going to do so good. I really hope they, I really hope they add more stuff with co-op, though. I hope they expand on it. Like, it seems like most of the dungeons you can do co-op are more like horde modes. You just fight a bunch of enemies, right? Like, I want to do, like, proper dungeons with puzzles and shit. Like, this game would support, like, there's literally nothing about this game engine would not, you could do, like, fucking, you know, Portal 2 bullshit with this game with all the elemental types and stuff. So you have, like, 2 or 3 people in the dungeon, each, you know, let's say it's 2 people, each control 2 people, right? And, you know, working through some actual puzzles together could be really fun, man. Like, you could design some awesome co-op content for this game, where, like, you need to, like, have, like, your teammate do certain things. Like, you have a boss battle even, not just puzzles. You have a boss battle where you need your teammate to do certain things while you're doing something else to, like, you know, weaken the boss or whatever. That could be really, really fun. By the way, Green, apparently... Hold on, I have to click off because I missed that. Fucking this game. But, apparently around level 20, I found out the bosses and some enemies, not all enemies, but they get tougher. Oh, yeah, yeah, I saw that, where, like, where is it? Yeah, the world level. Like, if you level up, eventually your world level will level up and your enemies get tougher. But that, I'm sure that matches the host, not the people joining in. Alright, I swear, we gotta move on with the main quest. I'll come back and do this stuff later. They probably will do raid bosses. Games like this pretty much always do that eventually. Oh yeah, if you cook enough, you can, like, auto. Nothing like, being out in a dragon's lair and cooking chicken or some shit. I mean, I doubt they're ever going to change only the host being able to progress. It's really hard to do a game like this because you could join somebody that's at a different point than you and, like, get around things and shit like that, so... The main thing is, from what I understand, they lock out a lot of stuff that you can't do in co-op, which kind of sucks. Like, yeah, it's fun. You know, it's okay if, like, the whole game isn't designed to be co-op, and that's all right. That's not a big deal. But giving you more fun things to do in co-op would be nice. And I'd love for them to make content that's aimed at co-op, right? Make it optional, so if people can't co-op, it's not a big deal. But, that could be really, really fun. Dude, hash browns are delicious, dude. Has anyone here had jalapeno hash browns? I love that so much. They're so good.
It's stuck.
It's stuck.
Hey, check out that roof. Is there a giant hole in it?
I suppose we could make use of that wind current.
I love spicy food so much, dude. I love spicy food so much. It's so delicious. Like, they have so much flavor. I will say, it is hard to get into spicy food, though, if you haven't, like, kind of built into it. I was kind of lucky in that, like, I started eating hot food when I was really young, and so it was really easy for me to get into that. But it is legitimately difficult to enjoy hot food if you kind of just, midlife, just jump in and try to eat it. It really doesn't work out so good. And some people just don't, like, I mean, I will say, I feel like it's kind of like with books. You know, books have so much variety, it's stupid to say you don't like books, right? With the flavor in spicy food, there's so much variety. There's going to be, you know, flavors that somebody's going to like, right? but not everybody's going to enjoy the heat side of it, right? But there's so much variety in terms of flavor that's not a problem generally.
Let's make a detour then. Heading up.
Yeah, I thought he was making fun of her there. I was like, what the fuck?
Do you think there will be a
Books are delicious, fight me.
Either way, if we do run into one,
Good source of fiber.
Victorious Master Diluc,
Do not underestimate them just because I have beaten one of them before. I'm not boasting. I'm simply saying there is more to the Abyss Order than a few mages.
Correct. That's why I tagged along after all. Well,
And rip that guy.
Why am I so diligent?
Too diligent for a poet, in fact.
I need to upgrade Noelle's gear. It's pretty behind. But one thing I really like about her is that, like, will you all stop talking? I swear, they're still talking in the pause menu. I don't know why these, like, filler dialogue has to be so long. Oh my god. Anyway, I really like that how you can use her shield to cancel any point in her animations and start swinging again immediately. Like, it actually allows her to throw out some pretty nice burst damage. It's pretty cool. I really like, because she's designed to be more of a support character and a tank. But if you're good with that, you can actually get some good damage in too. I like that. I like the level design here though. It looks really cool. I was not paying attention. Oh god, it's 1 a.m. I'm gonna have to wrap up really soon. I didn't realize it was that late. Jesus Christ. I was wondering why I felt so tired. Also, she can do this. Hey, True. Yeah, I'm having a good day. Or night, or whatever. I guess it's tomorrow now, so I guess it's technically morning. That hitbox, though. Yeah, I really should be going to bed, or getting ready for bed and wrapping up, but okay. No, 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 no. Seriously, I like the aesthetic here a lot. It's awesome. Yeah, yeah, one reason my, Diluc has so much better damage than my Noelle is, I actually, like, ascended his weapon once, right? So it's, like, level 28. And then I'm pretty sure she's using, like, yeah, hers is just level 20. So that's a big difference. She has 94 attack on that. And he has 136, so that definitely helps.
I still have a lot to do with the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back?
Wait, where the hell am I going right now? Oh, there's like a gap here. Okay. Alright, let's get like that teleport point, and that will probably stop there. That kind of sucks. If I known I was gonna take this long to get done here, I would have just done co-op stuff tonight. Whoa!
It might lead us to the top of the tower.
Alright, here we go. And hey, look, we get the map opened up. That's nice. That helps a lot. Look at all this shit in this area. This is gonna be a fun area to explore, I feel. Okay, boys. Oh, wait. I'm not sure. I know I did my 4 dailies. I'm not 100% sure if I turned them in or not. Let me just check that real quick.
Ad Astra.
Oh, I got that. Interesting. So that's that right there is 1/10 of a 10 roll. That is a good reward, but yeah, 1/10 is kind of sad there. And then this is like 1/100th or something. I don't even know. But you know, FGO really. Ugh, God. What are you even saying? She says like everything in English, then she says that random nonsense. I don't even. But yeah, you know, FGO in the early days did not give out that much free SQ, right? But then later they amped it up dramatically. So this game might do that. We'll just have to see. Applesauce, yeah, yeah. I keep forgetting that this is a thing. You could say that's. I wonder how. I don't know what 4 hours. You can send someone out for 4 hours to collect a radish and a carrot. It takes them 4 hours. That's crazy. That's so silly. I feel like these are way better, like right now, like the rock ones, because oh shit! I didn't realize you could get those. Oh fuck! I should have been doing these this whole time. I didn't realize you could do that. Because I need a lot of those. Like, what else am I gonna send my guys out for? Jesus. I feel like I should only send him out though, for that long. I'll send Lisa out for like a lot shorter, like when I'm like, because I might need lightning for some fucking reason. So probably 12 hours. That's probably the next time I might play. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, he gets like a bonus, and he does these faster. Yeah, I've seen that. Like, I've gotten the prototype that you need, like, from that... with some bullshit quest, like with the seals or whatever. So, like... where's the greatsword one? Yeah, like, I got this thing from that quest, and so if I just got a bunch of these chunks, I could just make this thing, which is, you know, better than what I have, so... Honestly, I probably could have made this by now if I had realized you could get the these crystals that way. And I think these things, yeah, it says they're in Storm Terror's lair. So if I do those and I go there for a while, I could probably craft that thing. Be a bit of an upgrade. See, I feel like it depends on how they balance things, but like I feel like from a PvE perspective, the game is going to be more fun if you don't get the Gasha weapons. I feel like the Gasha weapons, like, oh bam, you have a 5-star weapon and that's that, right? I feel like that would be kind of lame, but we'll see. It just depends on how they do it. Alright boys, I'm gonna wrap up there. Thank you all for hanging out. I'll try to play it tomorrow. Maybe we can do some co-op, fight some bosses or something. Hold on, let me grab this achievement. But yeah, I'll do my best to stream tomorrow. Probably play, I'll probably do my newbie account on FGO for a bit, and then we'll play some of this. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch y'all later. Wait. We should, like, actually raid somebody, because, like, I didn't raid earlier because I was gonna stream again later, but, I should raid somebody. Let's see. My Twitch doesn't want to load. There we go. Okay, what do we got here? Here we'll raid Slice. Slice is playing this game. Why not? We'll see what he's doing. I guarantee you he's got like all 5 stars and you know all that nonsense. I know how he rolls. There you go, boys. All right. Now I will see you guys tomorrow.